Hey guys, welcome back to Words of War. My name is Jorge Guerra.
And I'm Sergio Guerra.
And today we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man 2. So Spider-Man 2 is a continuation of Spider-Man, which was recently redone by Sony, or who is it? Fox, right? So it continues with Peter Garfield playing Spider-Man. If you saw the first one and you have thoughts about that one, this one's actually just continuation of Peter Parker being Spider-Man, being in love with Gwen Stacy, which is played by Emma Stone. And he's still trying to discover what happened to his parents, and still trying to cope with the fact that he's Spider-Man in a relationship. And and then this one, a friend from the past is introduced as Harry Osborn, and a new bad guy arises through Electro, which is played by Jamie Foxx. So Spider-Man insanity ensues. But as far as it goes, this movie, if you saw the last one, I definitely think this one was better told. I thought the other one was kind of like it lulled, and the character wasn't portrayed well as far as I saw it, as far as what Spider-Man is. But this one, honestly, in the first 15 minutes, fixes a lot of the gripes that I had about the first one. It brought the character back down to being this kid who's dealing with the fact that he's had these powers, and he's just trying to balance out, being good and being in this relationship and being a young adult and being Spider-Man. Within that, you get introduced to the bad guys that are going to be going through this. You can see their characters develop. I think Jamie Foxx did a pretty good job on as far as his acting went. I was a little bit worried about how Electro would turn out, and it actually looked pretty good. The effects were pretty good on this movie too. I didn't think 3D added too much to it. It did add on the fights with Electro though, but for the rest of the movie, it kind of was just not really that important. But as far as the story flowed, I think it flowed pretty well. There was, to me, what seemed like a really long lull in the middle, that was just kind of, it really served no real purpose, and so that kind of just took me out of the film a bit. But all in all, it was an enjoyable ride. The beginning and then the end, it really lived up to that kind of that superhero movie thing. But in all honesty, this felt more like a coming of age tale more so than it did like a superhero movie, and it felt more like an origin story than really the first one did. I mean, it just sat better with me for that point. What did you think?
I actually didn't watch the first one because it looked so horrible, like all the commercials and everything. I just couldn't get into it, and I saw some of the things that they did to the character, and just having finished Sam Raimi's trilogy of Spider-Man, which was pretty good. Even part 3 that got really corny, it was still kind of fun to watch, sit there and all. But the story that he developed in his 3 films and the characters that they played, Tobey Maguire and Kristen Dunst and all, they were done really well. So when I started watching the commercials for this new version of Spider-Man, so quick to come behind the heels of the last one. It just wasn't. It didn't look very good. It changed a lot of things in the character, and I never really got into it. I totally just hated it. So, what does it have to do with part 2? Well, I wasn't necessarily ecstatic about watching this one either. It did look more interesting as far as the commercials than the first one, and so I went in there probably with very, very low expectations, and I almost really, was expecting to hate it. So I really, really hated the fact that I liked it so much because it just goes to show you what you shouldn't prejudge something, and I was prejudging this whole series based on just thoughts that I got because of a commercial for part 1. So maybe from what I've heard, things in part 1 were pretty bad and they were fixed in this one. But coming into this film without having the part 1 experience, I thought it was very complete in and of itself. It could be a great origin story. I don't even need to know what happened in part 1 to really enjoy this and get the sense of the characters. I don't agree that it was a coming of age story because I didn't see the character himself really growing much or anything like that. I think he was already pretty much set in who he is in Spider-Man. He has the dualities of the fact that he's having to choose this kind of life of crime fighting and then the life with Emma Stone's character Gwen Stacy. And so, and if you follow the comic books, you can a little bit how that turns out and stuff. So anyhow, story-wise, I thought it was good. It was definitely entertaining. I love what they did with Electro, a character that could definitely have been very, very corny. Jamie Foxx did a great job. They did some kind of cool stuff with like his thoughts and just making his character really just kind of crazy from the get-go, even before he becomes Electro. So it makes his whole persona really believable. I agree also the fact that the fighting scenes, they're like out of a really cool video game. Like I kind of was hoping like, oh man, I wish I was playing this right now, because some of the stuff just looked like you would play in a game, and they were really good. Same thing though, besides those fight scenes, not much really brought by the 3D. So you don't necessarily have to see it in 3D to enjoy the film, but overall, they don't. I was a little bit worried about the fact that they're going to have various villains, but they don't overdo it. They actually place them in the story in very good spots, and so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun just to watch it. As a comic book geek, I kind of like the fan service of some of the stuff that's in there for the characters, and I think it primed me at least for the next one. Like I'm really looking forward to seeing the way this goes. The only gripe, there are a lot of things that I don't like Green Goblin looking like a real goblin or whatever. But lots of things that you can nitpick. But once you accept the fact that what they're showing you, that's it. That's their version of Rhino. That's their version of Green Goblin. That's just what those characters are in their films. They fit in really well. If you're gonna be a stickler because you want the Green Goblin to have a pointy purple hood, then you're not gonna like this. You're not gonna like that Rhino's a machine. I was like that before I saw the movie. So, anyways, I think maybe I would give it a 8. What would you do? What would you give it?
I honestly I enjoyed it, and I really liked all the feel spots. Like they got them right, like the relationship spots, like him being a hero and stuff. Like they got it really well. They did it really well. But honestly, like it still didn't just push itself in that direction where I would like go out and buy this day one. So I would still give it like a 7.5. I think it's enjoyable in the theaters, but like I said, I wouldn't complain if it was on TV, but I wouldn't be in a rush to watch this again.
I would go buy it on Blu-ray. I liked it. I can't say that if you like the first one, you'd like this one because I didn't see it, but it's definitely up there as far as like actiony superhero movies. It's definitely like enjoyable.
But acting wise, I think like we were talking about, Andrew Garfield is a good actor, and I think he did extremely well in it. I was really impressed with Jamie Foxx did with Electro, because that could have totally been very cheesy, because if you've ever seen Electro in the comic books, it just turns into that, But let us know what you thought. If you saw the first one, how it matches up to this one. Let us know, if you'd go out and buy it right away, or if you want to be Spider-Man, whatever the case may be. But as always, comment in the section down below. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Again, I'm Jorge Guerra.
And I'm Sergio Guerra.
And y'all have a good one. Bye.